Okay, this is my father for my English 10 honors, Death of a Salesman slash American Dream Project, and here's my interview. Since you came from another first world country, what was your original motive to come to the United States?
I always grew up seeing the United States as the leader of the entire world, and I thought that that was my place to be. Growing up in Canada, I didn't like the socialism aspect of the government. I didn't like the socialism medicine. I didn't like the government telling you everything you could and could not do. And I found myself when I watched more and more American TV, because we did have American news in Canada, that I felt more in place with the way Americans aligned themselves with religion, with freedom of speech, freedom of arms, freedom of the freedoms and liberties that Americans have. And when I looked at what Canadians had, how restricted it was because of what the government did to them.
Yeah. Did you ever face any problems while you were immigrating to the United States?
Yeah, when you graduate from college in the United States, at least back in the '90s, you would get a yearly visa, a 1 year visa that allowed you to work in the United States. Now after that, I chose to stay here. So then, because my type of work was not part of the NAFTA agreement, I had to find an employer that was willing to literally sponsor me to be an employee, uh, and fill out the paperwork, and it was a cumbersome project with lots of paperwork, and it took years, it took a long time. Luckily, at the time there was at least a process where I could work while it was being processed.
What is your view on the American dream and what it is in general?
Uh, my view on the American dream, like I said, is probably different from some others, and I think it depends on a lot where you come from in the world, because like I was saying, the American dream for somebody coming from another first world nation for me was different, because I wanted to live in a land where I had more freedoms and abilities to do stuff that I wanted to do, and without the restrictions of a government being in place to do it. Obviously, in Canada, it's possible to have a good job with a nice house and live in a nice area. And for many, that's the American dream. But for some people, the American dream, especially nowadays, can be just coming to the country, getting in the country. It's becoming so difficult to become an immigrant in this country of immigrants. So just being here can be the dream.
How was your experience in attempting to start a business in the United States?
It was difficult, and fairly miserable, to be honest with you. It was a cutthroat business, and a business where newcomers aren't welcome.
So you saw capitalism firsthand.
And I saw capitalism firsthand. People that would tell you that they were your friends, but then steal your business at the same time. So it was a rude introduction, especially for somebody when I was so young at the time. So, and I got absolutely no respect in the business because of my age.
Do you think that the American dream has changed for immigrants in this time, like now?
Absolutely, absolutely. When people came to this country, either before or after the First and Second World Wars, they were coming with the dream of owning a piece of land to farm, to cultivate, to raise a family on. And then, I mean, various generations, obviously it's changed. It became come to America to get a better paying job, and then it became come to America to get a better paying job to own a nice house. I think the American dream evolves with every new generation of immigrants that comes to the country, and if it doesn't, that means we're staying stagnant. It has to evolve.
Do you think that the American dream, the perspective of it, is different for people that were born in the United States rather than immigrating to the United States?
Absolutely. I a lot of times think people that were born here a lot of times don't respect and don't appreciate what they were born into. When you come here as an immigrant to live or to dream the American dream, you start with a battle and a battle might not be the best word, but with a hurdle set up by the government. And I mean, so often, especially nowadays, you hear about, oh, we support legal immigration, we want legal immigration, we love immigration if it's legal. Well, for somebody who doesn't have a college degree or doesn't have the ability of a family member to help them immigrate here, there is no legal immigration in this country, and people don't even know or understand that. A guy who is cutting grass in Mexico City that goes and applies for a visa to become an American citizen has about a 35-year wait list. So if a guy that's 30 years old goes and applies, he'll probably be dead before the U.S. government gets to his application. So absolutely.
And the final question, do you think that you have achieved your view of the American dream?
I do, because I mean, I live in the country. I live where I want to be. I mean, I have a wonderful family. I have a beautiful house and a job that I enjoy going to. So, I mean, the stereotypical American dream to say I'm not living it would be a lie.
All right, thank you for your time, and that wraps up my interview. Thank you.